Welcome to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur, where we shine the light on the blind side of entrepreneurship. It's your boy, Errol J. Allen with
Jessica Myers. How you feeling today?
blessed and highly favored. Happy 2025.
This has been a year. Like they say, it's what, January has 74 days? They were like, January 74th already.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey. But I know we had some dope things with the event and all that.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about it in a few, but
yeah, I was like, one of the main things, in meeting people and going to a lot of networking events, even hosting our own, the Small Business Exchange, is a lot of times we meet entrepreneurs and the first thing they say is what's keeping them from getting started or moving further in their dreams is money.
Yep.
Most 99% of the time, I will say, it's money, even though it's other factors. But what they actually admit is money. So when I met a couple months ago, or like you say, it feels like it's been forever and a day. When I met Miss Ty Woods does grants a couple months ago at another conference, I was like, wait, you have what? Because a lot of times the money that you get, where you get it from, is like, it's a high interest loan, especially in real estate, it's hard money. And she started talking, was like, no. You can actually get grants that you don't have to pay back. You know the interest loan on a grant? Exactly. And if you have the right mission and you're in the right alignment, you don't have to pay it back. So we have with us today Miss Ty Woods. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good.
The CEO of businessgrants.com.
I'm trying to get used to that.
What do we used to that? Wait, the vision is to do what?
To help 1 million small businesses scale to $1 billion worth of grants. I want to be able to give away $1 billion worth of grants.
Oh, stand on it.
My platform.
Exactly. To billions, y'all.
To billions.
With a B.
With a
yes,
B.
yes.
With a B. Well, that's because there's actually not even 10 figures, 12 figures that are given away every year.
Wait, how many
worldwide.
commas is that? Wait, you got to
Let's
count
do it.
that.
Let's see.
That's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 commas.
Yeah.
That's a trillion?
Yeah.
Almost $1 trillion, but it's in the hundreds of billions of dollars that's given away in grant funding.
Wow.
Annually.
Worldwide, annually.
Oh, my goodness.
That's worldwide.
So I had a class yesterday, and I had people on my class from Nigeria, from Vietnam, from England, from Canada. And that's when I realized I'm global, y'all.
Global. I love it. Because
Go ahead.
no, I was saying most people, when they talk about grants, they often talk about the lottery. Like they're like, hey,
Right.
you can apply for this grant and hopefully you'll win it. Maybe you won't. Just good luck.
Right, because there are grants out there that are like the lottery. There are grants out there that people are paying application fees for in order to apply for it.
Wait, are those a scam?
I absolutely believe that. I wouldn't say, okay, let me tell you this. A valid grant does not require you to pay something. They actually want to pay you because you align with their vision for what they want their money to go. So I'm not going to ask you to pay me to help you. No, that just doesn't make any sense. I just want people to use common sense, right?
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering. I was like, is this part of raising the money for the grant? Is them making me apply?
It is absolutely some marketing ploy. So I tell people in my class, please do not pay for a grant. If you have to pay an application fee, just go ahead and pass on that because it's not worth it. You're most likely not going to win, and it's a contest. You might as well go to Kroger, go to the grocery store, go in there and get you one of them lottery tickets.
Scratch off.
The $10 scratch off.
Get that dollar scratch off, and you might even actually win.
You have a higher probability.
You have a higher probability of winning that grant, that ticket. So otherwise, just find you. It just takes time to find the grantor who aligns with the small business, and that's what we're doing. Our platform, what we're building. The new businessgrants.com, which, by the way, we'll be releasing in April. The new businessgrants.com, which will be AI powered, like a best friend who knows grants really, really well. That's going to be like, you go ahead and sleep. I'm going to look for a grant for you. And when you wake up, ding, 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 I found a grant for you. This aligns. You don't even have to do searching anymore. And then it says, you know what? Let me help you write that grant. That's kind of my AI. That's my AI voice. That's how my AI sounds. Like an old black grandmother.
Let me help you write that.
Let me help you write that grant, baby.
So let's take it. So first, I want to ask about the process because this is such a huge thing in entrepreneurship. You know, people obviously want to get the funding, like Jessica said, but it comes with a tie or an interest rate, or you gotta put your firstborn up for the chopping block. So obviously, you have mastered a space where that is not a factor. It's now more just getting through the barrier of getting chosen. What have you, I guess, and I know you have a bunch of, we're going to get into it. What have you seen that helps people get more qualified or probable chance of getting their first grant or two?
So in my classes, I teach about the foundation. You have to have a strong foundation. So before we even get into anything related to grants, I'm like, is your business set up properly? Now, if you're LLC, dude, is that all you have? I had somebody on my class, they was like, what's an EIN number? I was like, baby.
Do you file taxes?
That means you done filed taxes with your business, right? Well, no. I just thought you just needed an LLC because they're watching these social media.
TikTok didn't mention the EIN.
The
They
1
just said
minute
the
clips.
LLC.
Yeah.
The 60-second clip that says, go get your LLC so you can get business funding. No. It's more than that. You need to establish your structure, your setup properly. So, do you have an EIN number? Do you have an LLC? Of course. Get your EIN number. Yes. Some people stop right there. But in some cities and some jurisdictions, you need to have a local business license to do business in that city, like the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, I found that out recently. Was like, wait,
Man.
I thought we were good.
You want to know how I found out? Because enforcement came knocking on my. Now I have an office. They came knocking on my door like, you doing business in this city? You ain't got no business license. That's my city of Atlanta enforcement officer voice.
You know, I can actually picture a face with that voice real time.
That would be so dope if your AI had different characters, like the grandma's talking.
I really would
enforcer's
love
talking.
that. Like somebody, if you're listening to it, just go ahead and create it. I will buy the GIF. I really want that. But that's how I found out that I'm like, I've been doing business in Atlanta for like, at that point, probably 6 years. 6 years. And I did not know that I needed a local business license.
Yep.
And then you have to renew that license every year. I'm in renewal season right now. So sometimes people don't know that. And then to even take it a step further, they want to go to grants.gov, which is where the federal grants are posted, because that's where everybody go, right? Oh, go to grants.gov. You can't get a grant on grants.gov. You don't even have a DUNS number.
Yeah.
Do you have a sam.gov account? What? Yeah, because they're going to give you a UEI number. Huh?
What does UEI stand for?
Unique Entity Identifier. It's your EIN for the federal government.
Because I thought they replaced that with the DUNS.
No.
Okay.
Nope. You got to have both. When I get those communications that says DUNS number, then it say my UEI number. Now, a lot of people don't even know that so that's the setup. That's just the setup. So then they try to go and apply for a grant. They wonder why they're not getting it. Or if they do get it, they can't even get the money because they don't have the access. They haven't done the work.
So someone could win a grant and not have the structure set up and then won't get the funding because the structure ain't there.
Oh, yes. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars get turned down because they didn't have.
They're like, oh, we love your mission. We love what you're about, but you ain't ready to receive.
Yep.
And that's like a couple days. Like, literally, you could get that knocked out 2 days.
It's so much more to it, though. And SAMS.gov is not, no, you got to get, they go through, like, a couple days for verification, and then you got to go through another verification.
There's more to it.
Then when you apply for the grant, there's another series of verifications. Usually you have to use a login, like login.gov, whatever you use to get like your passport, stuff like that. All of those federal documents, that's usually the login you need. And some people are like, I don't have all that. Or they may not, have the right status, citizenship.
Gotcha. So let's take it back. How did the journey begin? The whole start of coming into this business grant space and now being known as, the CEO of businessgrants.com. How did this start off?
Okay, so my husband and I, this is 17 years ago. We were in our 2-bedroom apartment, and we knew at that point, we wanted to do something for the kids in the community, well, for the teens. And so we were like, we're gonna let them come over. We're gonna invite them over, and we're gonna let them play with the music equipment because we had all this music equipment. My husband was a music producer, and I was like, you know what? We should apply for some grants. And he was like, you can't get no grants without being a business. And that's when I started on this journey because we were paying out of our own pocket money that we didn't have. I mean, literally, we were hosting events at our house, at our apartment, and kids was coming. We had like 3 teenagers came the first day, and I would go to the bus stops in the morning. Hey, y'all want somewhere to go on Fridays? Here, come, let's go make some music. Let's go make some beats. Now, my husband was like, no, I can't do that. You can't see me walking around with some, talking about, would you like to come to my house on Friday?
And make some beats.
I told him, you know what? You're actually right. You can't do that. But it was easy for me. So kids was coming. And we went from 3 kids to, after, this is the summer months, they weren't doing anything else. By the end of the summer, we had 40 teenagers in our home, in our 2-bedroom, 1,100 square feet apartment. And I was like, oh, we need some money. And these kids can eat.
Yes.
Teenagers, man.
Especially 40 of them.
Ooh. Well, by the time we got to 40, we was texting them parents, hey, can you bring a pack of, can you bring this? Because this was starting to cost us. And parents was like, shoot, these kids getting out this house tonight. They was going on date nights, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, we'll be that place you can drop your kids off. But it became so much more than that. When we realized that we had something big, and we was like, what can we call this? What are we giving kids? An opportunity to explore the arts. You know what? I think we giving them an art opportunity. And Chris was like, yeah, that's what it is, opportunity. And I said, when opportunity comes knocking, he was like, opportunity knocks. That's it. We went on the trademark office the next day because that word was just way too good to be true. And sure enough, it was not taken. So we trademarked that bad boy that next night, and not even knowing that later on somebody was going to try to steal that name. And if we didn't own it,
be a whole problem.
Yep, that's a different story. That's a different, y'all got to own your stuff. But anyway, we knew that we needed money. We knew that we were going to need more money because we were just growing from the seed. We couldn't host. We went from our apartment to the community room. You know how apartment complexes have like that community center? So they was like, oh, yeah, you can use it. And we busted out of that. Then a local church was like, you can use it. And we busted out of that. So we was like, look, we need more locations. Because kids were now coming from, I mean, this is Atlanta. So if you know about Atlanta, like the perimeter, we had kids from all around the perimeter coming to our locations. So we was like, let's just ask people if we can use their facility. That's the first thing. Some people think that grants start with money. Really, grants can be products, grants can be services, and grants can be facilities and real estate. I give you a real estate grant, a rental grant, you don't have to pay rent. What I would normally pay for rent, I don't have to pay. So someone donated their facility. That's an in-kind donation. We wrote them a tax-deductible letter. They can write that off on their taxes. We got us a building.
So at that point, was you like already an entity, like a 501c3 or
yes.
any? Okay, I was
yes.
going to say, because you can't just like, here's a tax write-off for you.
No. Once we came up with the name Opportunity Knocks, we went like the next day. We went on IRS, applied for the EIN. We already had. We went to the Secretary of State, got the nonprofit corporation, because it's not an LLC. It's a nonprofit corporation, different entity type. That's a teaching moment. Then we went to the IRS to apply for our EIN. Then you got to go back to the IRS to get that same EIN number exempt. That's the difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit. When you get that ID number exempt, I'm saying, I am now, this dollar that you just donated is now exempt from taxes, so you could deduct that from your tax return. What you just gave. And that's an incentive for a lot of wealthy people.
Who need write-offs.
Yes. So I started looking for the wealthy people
who need write-offs. And when they need it by? In December.
So by then, they know exactly how much money they've made, and I start knocking on doors. You need a write-off? Well, a donation of $10,000 or more will do this.
We might need to start having our TSBE events in December.
Oh yeah, no, for real. We had it in January. Yeah,
I'm trying to tell you, strategically, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. So we learned the art of. I learned at that point. I was the one that was most experienced with leading the organization. I was just the executive director with a very large nonprofit organization in Georgia. And if I said the name, you would know it. And I was like, I really can do this on my own. I was working with them first at the same time building my nonprofit. So it wasn't like I just quit my job and then I'm going to start this. No, I still had to eat, right? Mm-hmm. While I was working on learning more about grants, I learned it on their dime. While I was still learning about fundraising, they did it very well. I'm like, I'm about to go to every fundraising event they host because in my mind, I already know I'm going to use this to further my business. Mm-hmm. And that's what I keep telling people, like, I want to work no job. I said, no, that job is paid training.
Yep.
What are you doing? Go to work for a place that can give you the training that you need so that you're not paying for the training on your own from the School of Hard Knocks, and now you're losing money, right?
The opposite of opportunity knocks is hard knocks.
The School of Hard Knocks. You don't want to go to that school. I went to that school. I dropped out.
Yeah. But I will say one of the main things that, like I said, connecting with you start talking about grants from a cash flow perspective. Mm-hmm. Because, and even still, like beyond going to grants.gov, you were talking about going to individual businesses, especially you started talking about feeding all these people. And that's what I love about starting where you are. Because like you said, you were asking for in-kind for locations and going to like the Publix and the Kroger and saying, hey, I know you got some community funds up in there.
Yes, they do. All of those stores does. All of the national chains. And I would go to them and I'll talk to the manager and say, look, we got 40 teenagers. Look, let me tell you what we're doing. And then they said, well, can you put it down on paper? Can you write it on paper and just say what you need and just hand me a paper? I was like, look, I just want to know I want you to know who I am. So when the paper comes, you're going to put a face to a name to the paper. And it's like, oh, yeah, I talked to her. Yeah, she told me about her problem. Let me go ahead and give them these gift cards. I started getting gift cards from Kroger and Publix to feed those kids. Like, these are all grants.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't understand how it works, but these types of relationships, I was out there hustling.
Yeah.
Looking for ways for people to give what they have to me or corporations. What do you have that you can give to me? And I'm not saying borrow, I'm saying give.
Yes.
What can you give to me that I can use to further my mission?
Yeah.
You either not using it anymore. This is how we ended up with 40 iPads. From a company that, so basically this company had to have new technology, and they were a telecommunications company, so they had to keep their technology up to date. But we could use those iPads in our program.
Yeah.
Can you get on the internet? Okay, great, we'll take it.
Yeah.
There were like 40 iPads during the pandemic.
Yeah. So
what we were doing was we were able to do our virtual learning program with iPads that was donated.
Wow. And that's what I love, because you talk about doing the mission, because you hear about celebrities who will come and drop off turkeys, and that's amazing. And people think, well, my nonprofit, we give out clothes or hats during winter. But you talk about programs for success, because even being at your gala, like, seeing, she has testimonies of people who've gone through the program and now their kids are going through the program. They've changed their major to getting into music. So it's more of like, we're teaching you in progressive, and we're actually doing the work and the impact of what the grants actually, get to attribute to.
Right. So that was our first like big gala. We always do like a little small dinner, or we'll do a show that the kids will put on. But this was our first time doing it at a establishment that is
They
pretty,
donated the space too.
which, by the way, donated to space. And if you knew what space, if I tell you what space, you'll be like, oh,
They charge.
okay, they charge. They charged. They had a show before and after us, and they could have charged us. But they were like, you know what? We're going to donate that space to you. And we're so grateful that they did that, because what we were able to do, we raised money while we were there, by the way. I believe we raised a little over $20,000.
Yep.
And then on top of that, we gained some potential board members, because we invite very wealthy people from the city to attend that, so they can hear what we got going on. And that's all a development. That's all a part of development. It's a very mastered skill that not everybody can do, but it can be taught.
Yes. Wait, did the people who sang, were they part of, did they come through y'all's program? The singers.
The singers.
In the red velvet.
No, those are professional.
Oh, because I was like, they were dope.
No. Those are,
they were really good.
You're talking about professionals.
Oh, yeah.
They actually were in the top 3 for America's Got Talent.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, they need to be signed.
Yeah. Oh, they signed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
They signed the opportunity knocks.
I know.
So let's talk, because of course there's a lot of highs that comes with this, but let's talk about some of the challenges or hurdles, lows that maybe you or a student, or just a story that people have gone through in this space.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, the cash flow gaps. So when you have we went from being about 80% program fees. This I'm talking about revenue streams. Mm-hmm. So we do charge for our programs, but we charge reduced prices.
Subsidized, yeah.
So if you had a summer camp that was like $250, we would probably charge $75 for that same summer camp. Well, someone pays the difference. Generally, we get a grant or a corporate sponsor to cover the difference. But sometimes those grants or corporate sponsors don't come in the time frames that you needed to come in. So we still have to host that summer camp. Summer is here. Mm-hmm. These parents have already signed their kids up to be in the program. We have to pay people. We have to pay them the entire summer. But then we get called, so our accounting team says that the grant is not going to come until August now. What? You talking about $50,000? That happened last year.
You got to hold a note for $50K.
Yes.
May, June, July, 90
And that's
days.
payroll. That's people coming in.
That's payroll. Yes.
Tough pill to swallow.
Yes.
So how do you navigate things like that?
So having other access to other capital is how you navigate around this. This is why I said you cannot just depend only on grants. You have to have what we call like a capital stack, basically. Yeah. You have to have your program fees. That's your money. So if it wasn't for program fees, we wouldn't have had the money to pay for people in May. But then in June, this is when we started doing the fundraising events for getting prepared for our July event. But we started raising sponsorship money early. Mm-hmm. So our corporate sponsors, all of our sponsors are, so we have program fees, corporate sponsors, event fees, because people pay to be at our events, mm-hmm. and we do have access to business credit. So our Amazon account has a $50,000 credit. That was built. We started with like $1,000
mm-hmm.
when we first started with our Amazon account. It's been 17 years though now. So we were able to buy all of our summer camp equipment through our Amazon, which is a net 45, mm-hmm. which we requested them to because we're like, okay, we need to stretch this as long as possible.
So for those who don't know, what would a net 45 be, the term?
So net 45 means we will give you 45 days to pay all of this for all the stuff you just bought today.
Like a layaway or credit card.
Yeah, like if you're old school, you know what layaway is.
Set that aside right there. Like, this is where we bring the grandma back.
Yeah,
Set that aside.
Let me put this on layaway. I put a $10 on it. I remember layaway. Yes, but yes, so it's like a credit card. But most credit cards are net 30. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to use all of our accounts that had a net 45. We needed as long as possible. And even when you get to the 45, we was like, can we get 50 days? They'll give you, once you get to 45, they might give you an extra 5-6 days before they start like calling. Mm-hmm. But we were able to navigate that because we knew which way to go. Okay.
Because summer camp is short.
Summer camp is only 8 weeks.
Uh-huh.
So we're like, okay, 45 days, that's what, 7 weeks? We only needed like an extra week or so before the next money comes. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, we can stretch this out. Mm-hmm. We can stretch this out.
Get creative.
And then the check ended up coming earlier than August. So it was like, perfect.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Yes. Come on now. But that was a recent example of how we had to navigate a very tumultuous cash flow situation. But if you don't have business credit or access to it, I always tell people you should have it even if you don't need it. You should have it even if you don't need it.
Because when you need it, you need it.
And I don't need to be waiting 7 to 14 days for your decision approvals. Mm-hmm. Like, I need to have it. And having access to like 50 to 100K in business credit was really, really helpful to us. I mean, we were moving money like crazy. It was like, okay, we're going to put it on this card. Then we're going to put this on this card. I mean, you got to...
You get real creative. You got to know how to play that game. I already know.
You got to get real creative. You got to get real creative. But we made it through, and I was like...
The mental stress, I already know.
But yes. I know when you start thinking about grants, especially in real estate, like, real estate is competitive and it's like you must close now, the soonest closing time. Yes. And how does that world of grants work in a world where sometimes you're time sensitive?
So they don't care. They don't care about your timeline. They're about to give you free money. So they'll tell you, you get the money when you get it. But
can't really argue that when you're not paying it back.
What you gonna say? I need it right now. You need to give it to me right now.
That's what that lady saying over in Pakistan. Y'all seen that? She's like, "Give me $20,000 right now." That's very interesting.
So there was one foundation last year. They actually realized the sensitivity of not holding on to the money after you get awarded. This was the first organization or foundation, I should say, the first foundation who called us and was like, when do you guys really need the money? Because our normal timeline is about 30 days before you get the money. We were like, look, it's about to close. We're about to close out the year. We want to send people home with a Christmas bonus. We really do need it right now. They was like, we'll wire you the money tomorrow.
I know you're getting a lot of great info, but hold on for 2 seconds.
So as you guys know, me and Jessica, we run the All Things Entrepreneur Show. We have a dope conversation with dope entrepreneurs. But you're probably wondering, how are you able to do this while still running multiple business ventures and doing things? Well, that's why we put together
our ATE podcast starter kit, where it's giving you all the tea of what we do and our systems that we use to streamline the process so that you can get started today.
So if you want to grab a copy of that, just check out the description down below, get your podcast starter kit, and start systemizing, streamlining, and launching your podcast.
Now get back to the information, because I know you're taking notes. You know you got it. Let's get it.
Let's go.
We about to close out the year. We want to send people home with a Christmas bonus. We really do need it right now. They was like, we'll wire you the money tomorrow.
Huh?
God damn.
That part.
Man, listen. I was like, can you do a class with all the other foundations? Yeah. Because what y'all just did just saved us from having to move money from here to try to make something happen. You guys came in right on time.
But that's where y'all had the clarity of vision. You were actually doing programs. And because even you were telling me about just the power of SEO. And how someone was able to just, look, it's December. I need to give away this money real quick. And they typed it in Google and was like, hey, I'm calling you with a check.
Yes. So, man, this happened last year, too. It did. It happened in 2024. We got a phone call, and they were like, hey, we were doing Google searches. We're looking for organizations that's making an impact in the state of Georgia, in the arts. So they do have an arts focus, this particular foundation. It's a major car company. They were like, if I said the name, you would know it. A major car company. And they were like, look, we saw what you guys are doing on your social media. We went on your website. We Googled you. You guys came up at the top. And then we saw some of the articles, the news articles, and we wanted to award you with $50,000. We were like,
imagine getting that call.
So wait, they came to you.
They came to us.
And you
cold call.
Imagine that call.
Imagine
you didn't answer the call.
I didn't answer the call. But they left a voicemail.
Oh,
and they said, this is such and such from the car company foundation. That's how. And I was like,
foundation.
The foundation of this car company? Okay, let me call this back. But what I had to do is I put the number in Google to make sure that was the car company. So, it's a lot of scammers out here. Yeah. And I'm not trying to get $50,000 from I don't want to use a country, but there's
I know what you were about to say.
And I just want to make sure that this was I want to make sure that they are legitimate. So I did put the number in Google, and they did come up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, man, this is legit. They really are about to give us. I had to call my husband. Come in here. We put it on speakerphone, and she said, yes, can I call you on Zoom? I said, oh, well, you sure can. So I just want to make sure, we talk. So I'm able to see her and her background with the company name and everything on it, and they go like, legit. I was like, wow. This is, so can we come to one of your facilities and do a check presentation? And we called one of the facilities like, y'all get their kids ready to tap dance. We about to get $50,000.
Put on a show right now. Beats everything.
But see, our students stay ready because they do the arts all throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So it was they gave us like a 3 weeks notice. And when they came, the kids put on a great show. They loved it. They presented us with this big fat check, which I always keep with me, like it's in the car. I just keep it with me as a constant reminder that even if you don't apply, if you operate in the spirit of excellence, money will find you.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to get out there. Like, you have to make sure everything is structured properly.
And you actually doing the programs.
And we're actually doing a program. So this is not like we got an idea and then, I'm trying to raise money for this and then we're going to start. No, we've been doing this for 16 years. We've been making an impact in the lives of youth for 16 years.
So that's what I make sure to tell people, especially even at the Small Business Exchange. I'm like, your idea is independent of the real estate. Because most people think, well, when I get the building and when I get the money, that's when I'll start. But you started your program with the tools you had and asked those to be a part, and then it was able to scale and grow. Right.
You want to know where I got that methodology from or that mindset from? There was a passage. This lady, she had debt, and it was like, if she didn't sell this, if she didn't do something about this debt, they were going to take her kids into slavery. And so this great man of God came, and he was like, what's going on? She said, I'm about to lose my kids. I'm about to lose it. And he said, what do you have in your house? She was like, I ain't got nothing except this bottle of oil and this cake. He was like, well, go to your neighbors, borrow some vessels. I want you to make as much as you can. Make as much as you can until the oil run out. And then sell it. Then everything that you make off that, I want you to go and sell and pay off the debt and live off the rest. And what happened was she took what she had in her house and made something from nothing. And that's the type of creativity that I needed when I didn't have anything. So I was like, what do I have in my house? What do I have in my hands right now? And everybody always asks me, well, how can I get this $100,000, $50,000 grant? I'm like, what do you have in your hands right now? You say you don't have the money to start your business, but you got something in your house. You got something in your car. Something.
Yeah.
And then you can make money off of that. You got a car. Can you do Uber Eats?
Yeah.
Make some money on the side while you are building your business.
You got a computer.
You got a computer, digital marketing. There's so many ways. There is no like, I honestly want people if you live in the United States, you should not be broke.
There's no excuse.
You should not be broke. You should not be broke.
Hell, if you watching this episode right now.
If you watching this episode, you should not be broke.
Yeah.
If you follow all things entrepreneur, you should not be broke.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody was telling, one of my students was like, oh, I've been down on my luck and they didn't get into real estate. And I was like, go watch a couple of our episodes, the billionaires and the net worth of the people we've interviewed. You'll find something.
Let me tell you something. I've lost it all. I've gotten back. I've lost it all. I've gotten it back. And I'm in the, come up again. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, what they can't take, your creativity is here and your heart.
Yeah.
That spirit of entrepreneurship, they can't take that from you.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was about to say. What voice inspires you in the times where things get hard?
Man, it's like I can say, well, it's the voice of God. You got to sound like this.
Oh, that's another character. We got 3 characters now.
We got 3 characters. But I will say the voice of fear. The voice of fear tells me you do not want to be broke again. So you better grind your butt off. You do not want to be in that boat again. And that drives me hard because I never want to go back there. I used to live in a homeless shelter, and I'm going to shout them out because they are a nonprofit organization, Covenant House, California. They serve teenagers and young adults who are homeless. And my passion for youth and young adults stems from the fact that somebody at one point saw me at 18 homeless and was like, you know what? I got a place for you to stay. And then from there, let me help you find a job. And then from there, let me help you find your first apartment. They helped me all the way. It's called Rites of Passage. And then I was able to get on my feet, go back to college, graduate, valedictorian. All of that came from somebody saying, here, let me help you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so it takes somebody like that. I am that person now. I have, oh my gosh, my husband said, once these last people leave up out our house, we not letting nobody else stay up in our house. Our house has been a revolving door for homeless kids, teens, families. Like, we just constantly letting people come and stay with us because that's the passion that I have of myself because somebody helped me.
Yeah.
So, yes, what drives me is the fact that I never want to go back.
I like having options, so I understand wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So let's transition to how did we acquire businessgrants.com? How did that unfold?
So I had to step down from Opportunity Knox as the development director or chief development officer once they lost the large grant. They had a $1.5 million grant that, by the way, me and my friend Jennifer, we wrote that grant together, and we slammed that thing like, what? So that was my first 7-figure grant, and I love it. I'm working on another one. It's due on Tuesday. Working on another one. But what we had to do was we had to separate our income because we were both getting paid on the nonprofit side. So what I said was, okay, let me take this skill set, which I'm already using for the nonprofit, which is development and grant writing, and let me create a consulting firm, which at the time is Dev 180, so DEV 180. Dev 180, and I'm like, I'm going to write grants for people. This is easy money for me.
Literally.
Easy money. So he was like, oh okay. But then it started becoming like more and more cumbersome for me to take on these clients because clients, like, it seems like the ones that pay the less are the ones that are so demanding.
The most difficult. Yep. I already know.
That's in every industry.
That's why you raise your prices, and that's why we charge what we charge.
I raised my prices. I became a high ticket because I realized now, you know what? I don't have to take this. Mm-hmm. So my lowest grant package is $15,000. That's the lowest one.
Stand on it.
I'm standing.
Yeah, because you got the results. You got commas.
I got commas for multiple businesses, not just mine. But I got them for mine on a recurring basis, not just one-offs.
Yeah.
And I know how to get recurring for everybody else. That's why I'm telling the people in my class, those who are in my Discord community right now, I'm telling them, we spending the first 4 weeks on foundation and setup because you don't have to do that after we done, we done.
One and done.
It's done the right way.
Yeah.
They're like, why we haven't started applying for grants yet? You know what? We gonna get there.
Yeah.
But what I wanted people to know was that my skill set was not just on the grant side, it was the strategy.
Yeah.
And that I have a technology background from way back in the day. I was like, you know what? I think I can write, not necessarily a code, but it's an algorithm on how we can match people with grants. So I started writing. And I came up with what I call MATCH. MATCH. It all stands for something in code language.
Ain't there like a dating site though? Match.com?
Yeah, but this match is the different type of match.
Yeah.
This match is all about, oh goodness, it's hot. This match is all about matching businesses with grants at a much more sophisticated way, in a much more sophisticated way. But I knew I had to make it more than just, it couldn't be a consulting. It had to be a technology.
Mm-hmm.
So I started talking to different developers, and I started with one in Nigeria, which is, he's great, but he had a knowledge cap when it came to AI. So he built out what you see now on businessgrants.com, which he did a good job. You know, aesthetically, it looks pleasing. But once you get to the functionalities behind the scenes, I'm like, you're not able to see the match component. And he was like, hey, I haven't been able to figure it out. So I just started talking to different people. And I went out and bought, first of all, I didn't even think that businessgrants.com would be available because I was just going to call it Dev 180, which is development 180 degrees. I was like, Dev 180, that's going to be the name of the website. But I went on there and I said, you know what? Let me just look it up. And it said, it's up for auction. I was like, well.
What do we have here?
Let's see how much they will accept. So it said this domain was valued at $80,000. I said, I'm going to bid $25,000. That's all I had in my disposable income. So I bid $25,000, and I won.
Aha!
I won the auction.
Was you happy or mad? Happy you got it, but mad like I should start with 15.
I felt like if I would have said like 17,000 or like a lower amount, I probably would have got it. But man. But you know what? I feel like I got a business that's already worth 80,000.
Yep.
That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So
you getting it with equity.
I got some equity. So I looked at it like a real estate because I've been doing real estate too on the side for about 15 years. And I bought all my properties on sale. My last 3 properties I bought on auction.com. And I buy them for like 30, 40,000. And I have to put a little money into it. Mm-hmm. And I already know it's going to be worth X amount. Well, I'm about to do that with businessgrants.com. I bought it for cheap. I got to put a little money into it. Make it, the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. AI focused, AI powered. And then, boom, it's going to come. Man, this is going to be one of the biggest flips. I call it my technology flip.
Yep.
This is going to be one of the biggest flips ever.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited.
In my life, in my world. I'm so excited.
That's why I feel like, being a witnessing
if you
a rocket
don't know
ship.
me now, you ain't going to know me now.
Are you a busy corporate professional looking to generate some extra passive income without taking on a second job? Or are you just an individual who's tired of having too much months at the end of their money and not money at the end of their month? What if I told you there was a way that you could generate a 6-figure cash flow machine off other people's properties that you don't even own in 7 steps? So for those who don't know, my name is Errol J. Allen. I've been a full-time short-term/mid-term rental operator for the past 6 years. And I show people how to generate explosive amounts of passive income with other people's properties that they don't even own. And what I've done is I decided to take those 6 years worth of experience, strategy, trials and tribulations, and boil it all together into one simple ebook called Getting Paid Away. The 7 Steps to Building Your 6-Figure Airbnb Portfolio. So if you want to grab a copy of it, all you got to do is click the link right here, get your copy, get the information, and make 2025 the best year and beyond.
I love it because, like you say, to billions, y'all. But one thing I love is that you talk about the process because, like you said, a lot of people just want the results. They just want, let's just apply for the grant or you apply for me. Yep. But you're like, if I set you up, it's like teaching a man to fish versus handing you and throwing you a fish.
Yep, I can go out there and fish. I can catch you a couple of fish. But then what's going to happen when I'm gone? You're going to be still sitting out there in that boat talking about, how do you work this thing?
Starving.
Like,
Starving.
Yeah. When
I could just teach you how to fish so that you can fish for a lifetime.
But are people like, especially with your students, are they patient with the process?
Girl, no. No, some of them are. Some of them understand what I'm trying to do. Excuse me. Some of them understand what I'm trying to do. And some of them are like, so difficult. Ty, I want to know when I got to get this money paid back. And like, you expensive. Well, yes, I told you that from the jump. I told you that was expensive. But guess what?
You get the results.
I'm going to have you set up where Google will give you a $10,000 grant next month. Next month. A $10,000 advertising grant. Remember that $50,000 I told you I just won? Well, if I didn't come up at the top of Google in a sponsored ad, would they have seen me?
Yeah.
I have a Google ad grant. And we spent over $600,000. That's how much they have donated in advertising credit.
Yeah.
I wish I could pull it up on the screen because I will show you receipts.
Yes.
I like to show receipts.
Mm-hmm.
But I need for people to see that there is so much opportunity out there. You just have to, when it comes your way, you just got to seize the day.
Yeah. Because that's where now even you're on finding and creating mission-based businesses. Because it's not just for nonprofits. Your for-profit can be mission-based.
Businessgrants.com is a for-profit, but it's mission-based because we have a mission of helping 1 million small businesses get to
$1 billion in funding.
$1 billion in funding. So our mission remains solid. The question is, why? Because 1 million small businesses don't have funding. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why. Because every single small business I talk to, and I'm about to go on tour and talk to more small businesses, in every city I go to, I'm going to tell you, I already know what they're going to say. What's your number one problem as a small business owner? Funding. They're going to tell you. Funding. Access to funding. They don't have a 780 credit score. They don't have the ability to, some people don't have all of the financial software and things like that. They just want to do their business. They want to bake the cakes. They want to do hair. But
because it's another skill set per se.
Right.
It is a skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do I need to do as a small business? What do I need to do to get access to funding? I answer that question. And I'm going to be answering that question even more with businessgrants.com.
I love it. I love it. What books have inspired you?
Well, my own book, 7 Proven Steps to Building a Highly Successful Mission-Focused Business on Amazon. Mm. Get your copy.
Yes.
But also, I got to go way back, y'all. This is a book called Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
By Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite books.
Man.
Do you have your life statement? Did you write it out?
Man. And I got a check for $1 million that was wrote. My husband did this, though. It was in 2007. So we've been married in September, 20 years.
Wow.
Congratulations.
I don't know how. We got married when I was 3. But we wrote a check for $1 million, and he put it in that book. And with the life statement on the back. And it said, I just want to be able to donate $1 million. I said, Chris, you already passed that, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, man, you right.
Wow. I
said, man, you better rip that check up and make another check.
To billions, y'all.
Billion. Add another 0 to it. Boy. We don't even have that bank account no more.
Yeah.
But that just happened a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, wow. Man, this is something. So, Think and Grow Rich, there's another one that's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yep.
And then there's a companion book to that called Cash Flow Quadrant.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, we play the game. Yep. We play the game Cash Flow.
Oh, wow. Man, I would never forget when I read those 2 books, like back to back. My entire mindset shifted. Something happened. And now I aim to be on the right side of the quadrant. If you don't know what that means, go and get the book. The audio book is on Audible. I mean, I have it in my phone. Like, it is. I continuously listen to it because it is just so powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
So ironically, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad was the same book that had my flip the switch moment for me too.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so yeah, ESI quadrant, all of that stuff. I was like, yeah.
Man,
I read
I'm
that I was 19.
I've been at E.
Yeah.
My whole family are E's.
Because even the delineation between employed and self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people think, well, I'm an entrepreneur, but you're still self-employed
Own a job.
versus a business owner and investor.
Yep.
It's totally different.
Yeah, I honestly used to think that some people that were S's, self-employed, like that was where I wanted to be. That was exactly where I wanted to be. And there's still a lot of very successful S's.
Oh, yeah. Making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money.
But they have to
millions
be
of
there
dollars.
every day.
But I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like my brand. If the business is only thriving because I'm up on the stage, I'm up on the screen, that's not a business for me.
Yeah.
That's not a business to me. Now, if you can build it out like John Maxwell has done, and he got like people becoming certified coaches, and then they like branching off and I'm a John Maxwell certified coach. By the way, John Maxwell is the other author that, I mean, I've read
21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership.
Man,
Yeah.
Come on now, like, man.
Oh, I was hoping for my book. Maybe we'll have better luck next
She
time.
has The Alchemist. That's her book. And ironically, I thought, because, I thought she was going to say Alchemist.
Because Think and Grow Rich is,
I know.
it's the Alchemist of Think and Grow Rich
Yeah,
for me.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I will put that one like at number 7
Ooh.
for me.
Okay.
So I will put
okay.
it.
And Rich
Think and
Dad
Grow
Poor-
Rich was definitely one of my most powerful ones. But
What is
Alchemist,
Rich Dad Poor Dad still again? Number 2?
Number 2.
And that's yours. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I had to. I had to.
Yeah.
It's just, y'all, man. That it would change you. It would change.
Oh
you.
yeah, Think and Grow Rich, like you, and it's so funny because a lot of the books that I read about any finance, it always starts with mindset. And like you said, people want to skip over the process and just get to the result.
Yep.
But anything first starts with the way your mind thinks.
Yep. Any conference that you go to, every conference that I've been to, even the ones that are marketing, that are real estate focused, I noticed that day one, the first session, mindset. And now I realize that I can't even start my classes without starting with the mindset.
You gotta because that's one of the things that people, even though they think that money is the problem,
Yeah.
money is not the problem.
Nope.
Is never, but that's what you are coming to me for because you know that you need the money. But I guarantee you that money is not the problem. Even with me, when I be going up and down through entrepreneurship, I'm like, where does my mind? I know my mind is off because it's never the money. It's always the mindset.
It is always the mindset. I'm telling you, I spent about 15 minutes on a call last night talking to a caller who, and I do this kind of like a Dear Abby type of segment where they can come up and like say, hey, this is my issue. And I said, if I don't solve it on the spot, like you'll get something for free, but I usually always solve it. And she was like, well, I wanted to know how, this is my interpretation of her voice, this is the caller's voice. I want to know how to get a grant, and I'm trying to start a cleaning business. And I was like, okay, so why do you want to start a cleaning business? Well, I don't want it to be like mission focused or anything. I just want to start a cleaning business.
Sounds like a red flag right there.
And so I told her, if you don't even know why, then if you come to me asking for a grant, I'm not going to give you money because you don't even know why you're in it. Mm-hmm. So you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, even if you're working at McDonald's, you better have, okay, this is how people get stuck. I'm going to show you how to get unstuck. You need to know your why. Every season, everybody has seasons. I worked at McDonald's when I was 16. That's okay if you work at McDonald's. If you have a why behind it, okay, I need this money so I can be able to go to college. I'm going to save this money, put this money aside, and that's why I'm working at McDonald's. Was easy job for me. okay, now I got the money to buy this car. Now I don't have to stay at McDonald's if I don't want to. My why was to get to the next step. What's your why? Why are you doing this podcast? And when you dig deeper, some people say, "Oh, I just want to make money online." Do you really want to make money online, or did you see somebody else's podcast and you were like, "Man, that entrepreneurship podcast was trash. I really want to be able to like solve some real issues," and then it birthed a why in you. Mm-hmm. There's a why, and then from there, once you get unstuck, it helps you to create the next step to this trajectory, this journey, because nobody stays in the same place. Everybody's when you either moving forward or you're moving backwards. But right here is not where you're gonna be 10 years from now. So have that why ready, and then that why should catapult you to the next why. That's how you go leaps and not baby steps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you how to leap, not get stuck.
I love it.
So in conclusion, and I know many people, we didn't get a chance to ask, but I want to address it. What would be a quick mini checklist, 3 things that people would need when they're looking to venture into getting grants in that space?
Well, we already talked about the setup, right?
The foundation stuff, yep.
So have the setup. The second thing is, and that's under setup was bullet point, right? The second thing is you need to know what it is that you do. Like, what is it you're going to be doing? Who are you serving? So that's your program. If you have a program,
clarity,
if you have a project, it needs to be crystal clear what it is you do. That young lady on the call couldn't even tell me why she wanted to clean. And then she was like, well, I use ChatGPT, and it told me that I should use chemical-free products, and that's going to give me my why. I said, you can't ask ChatGPT for your why.
Yeah.
Your why is birthed from within.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but ChatGPT can't give you that.
It can't give you vision.
No.
Because even I like to help visionaries, but I can't give you vision. Like, I can help clarify the vision, but you, like you said, the vision has to come from you having that time with self.
Exactly. So my first step, set up. Second step, get very clear about your mission, your programs, your description of what it is that you do. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Who do you serve? Where are you going to serve them at? The 5 W's, or is it 4? I don't know.
Who, what, where, when,
where. All of those, right? And then you're going to go over. So this is before you even get to marketing anything, right? I'm still talking about infrastructure things. So you have setup, you have your program descriptions and clarity. Then you need your measurements and your outcomes. Like, what's going to be the outcome as a result of me delivering this program to you? Mm-hmm. So if I would use my program as an example, so the outcome for a youth attending Opportunity Knocks is that they could end up working in this field and now contributing to the economy, into the music economy, to be even more.
Which is true.
So when we go to the Grammys and ask for money, we were like, we actually did this, And so now you have your outcomes. You can tell them what your outcome is going to be, because if you just starting, you don't know what your outcome. But you have to at least know what's going to be the outcome of me doing this, and the outcome needs to say the benefit to the community. What's going to be the benefit to the community or to that person?
Yeah, not the outcome of cleaning. You walk away with $100,000 contract. But the benefit that they get to walk in a clean environment.
Because I said the outcome. She said, well, the house is going to be clean. That's the outcome. I said, that's not the outcome.
But then they come home and they get to refresh. They get to think better. They get to,
Well, the outcome for her would be that down the line, because she's using we said we're going to use clean chemicals, right? Down the line, somebody don't have to worry about their breathing problems, because now they have a clean house. Their whole house is clean with clean products, with green products, and now it has an actual impact on their health. And there's a number and a dollar amount attached to that. And somebody has already done the research on that.
Yeah.
So find that research and add that to your statement.
Yeah.
Like, 25% of, this and that. They're going to just make up some numbers. I just want you to know that there are some valid research and data to prove everything. People have already, this is what they do. They research things.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, I would say marketing. Marketing is a huge, huge missed factor in a lot of businesses. I know some businesses that don't have social medias and websites, and I cannot fathom that today. Maybe 15 years ago, you could have gotten away with it, even maybe 10 years ago. But in 2025, honey, I just got a $50,000 check from my website.
Yeah.
There is no way I would not have a website. That's the first thing I do when I set my business up, is I set up a website the next day. Whether you go and pay some Fiverr vendor or you go and do it yourself, you need to have a website. And social media, of course, the social media page needs to be managed, but it should be a clean corporate social media page. Don't put your personal stuff on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's unless it's your personal brand. Mm-hmm. But other than that,
yeah,
you got to keep it clean, and that's how you get the attention of these grantors, because they're gonna look. Oh, trust.
They're gonna look you up.
They're gonna look you up, and if you don't have what it looks like, if your paper clean, like you got the best proposal ever, then they come over here to your social media,
that's not aligned,
and it's just a mess, and you just bullying people, and you better believe that's the fastest decline you gonna ever see. Not approved. And you're gonna be wondering why nobody. I say, look at your social media. That's why you ain't get approved. I'm trying to tell you.
So I know every first Thursday we can count on you for First Thursdays, where you do free and open to the community grant courses, right?
Yeah. So I started doing First Thursdays in 2023. It's an amazing opportunity to, first of all, I give them the real. On First Thursdays, I tell them real stories like what I'm telling you guys. I tell them how to get started. We go through live case studies, and then I have people who will pay for upgrade to VIP. I have them come up on the virtual stage, and I will dissect their business, and they will believe in like, oh man, no, but it's to uplift, because I want them to know how do you get funded. That's how you're gonna. Look, guys, there's a blueprint. I have a blueprint. I know the blueprint. I will give you the blueprint for free on First Thursdays. But if you want me to hold your hand and go through the blueprint with you, you're going to have to pay for that.
Yeah. And it's worth it, though, because you have, like I said, the way you bring it from a lottery to this is guaranteed. Well, nothing is guaranteed, but, you can pretty much 99.9% of getting people in the position where they can get some commas and the funding for their business that they need. How do they find you and find out about those other resources?
So you can follow me on Ty Woods Get Grants. Ty Woods Get Grants on pretty much all platforms. And then businessgrants.com is going to take you to all of the other resources that I have available. But Dev 180, of course, is still here. We're still doing consulting. We're still looking for clients who want
services,
development, grant writing, building a nonprofit from scratch. We do all of that.
And creative funding. So it's not just grants, because you work with creative funding.
It's not just grants. I thank you for clarifying that, because development is, like I talked about earlier, whole capital. We couldn't have done what we did last summer if we didn't have a stack of capital that we can select and pull from when we needed to. And you have to have strategy behind that. And that's what we bring to the table.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Ms. Ty Woods.
Man, I love it.
I was like, it's been great. And like I said, it feels like, just the way we bounce off ideas and talk about getting in the room. Getting in the room, getting in the right front of people, right people.
My new software developers, number one, I met through Jessica. I met my other partner, who is through Jessica, and then he connected me to the engineer who's now working on the new AI-powered businessgrants.com. But when we were in another room, I met Jalen, who she introduced me to, who introduced me to an investor in Silicon Valley, and now we are working together on creating an investor pitch for Silicon Valley.
Billions, y'all.
And it is no joke. I thought they was like, oh, we're going to just put together this little stuff. Man, I thought I had my stuff together. They came to me. They was like, oh, that's little money. I literally said, I just need to raise $500,000. He was like, that's little money. You're going to have people that don't even want to touch it unless it's $20 million.
Yeah.
I was like, $20 million?
Yeah.
To, like, you talking about to invest $20 million?
Yep.
They want to invest $20 million? He was like, they don't even look at deals less than $20 million.
Yeah. Because why?
Different ball game.
I said, okay, I need to get my mind right.
Yeah.
I need to get my because I've been dealing in the 6 and 7 figures.
Yeah.
And they're like, we about to take you to the 8s and 9s.
And we just had a conversation starting out talking about 12.
And we just started about, man.
So if you ain't expanding your mind and watching this and contacting Ty, then you crazy. You can't keep sitting back saying that you don't have the resources that you need when they're all right here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ty.
Thank you so much for the invite. I love this.
Did you learn a lot?
Of course.
I
hope you learned some too.
I know. I was actually taking note for some things we needed. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get it together.
I got
we're
some
gonna get it together.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. I've been your co-host, Jessica Myers.
And it's your boy Errol J. Allen.
As always, you know you got it. Let's get it. Let's
Let's go.
go.